Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here with my next update for my Panda face palette. This is the first year I'm doing a Panda face palette ever. I've never done one before, but this year I thought I would dive into this project and give it a go for myself. So this year I am panning my Ghost Edit palette from Hourglass. I'm not going to hold it up too much because, as you can see, the packaging is very reflective. But I'm going to go through where I am with this palette today, what usage I have, how much it weighs, all of that good stuff. I've been working on this palette now for 3 months, so we are a quarter through the year, so I will also give you a few stats there. But before I jump into everything, if you're new here, please consider subscribing. I would love to have you in the family. Let's jump into the video. So I'm going to start by inserting a slideshow of what the palette has been looking like. So what it looked like at the introduction, you can see it was a little bit used, not too much. Then also at the first update, where I've used quite a few of the shades. I had most kind of spread out used in the first month. And then here is where it was last month. I had mainly focused on, there's a couple of shades that I'm focusing on mostly, but I'll talk you through those when I get to them. So that is where I was, and this is where I am with this palette today. So hopefully you can see a little bit of a difference. I can definitely see it in person when I'm looking at like how tall or like how high the domes are. But I will of course also insert some photos and talk you through the palette in general. So that is, like I said, where I am today. So for simplicity's sake, I'm also going to have up the pictures, like I said, here, so you can look at the comparisons of the palette, so I don't have to hold it up constantly. So let me go through the shades. First up in the palette, we have the shade Dim Light, which is like a finishing powder. I have found that this one is slightly too deep for me right now with my like paleness. And because of that, I decided to wait with this one until summer and when I have a bit more of a tan. So actually I haven't used this one at all in the past month. Moving on to the next shade, which is Diffuse Light, which is also a finishing powder, but this one is lighter. This is definitely one that I've been focusing on a lot, and I probably can see the biggest progress in this kind of shade right now. Even if I hold up the palette right now on the side, hopefully you can see there how flat that dome is. I think I am very, very close to pan. I can see like a little bit of the pan in that very corner right here. I don't know if you can see that right there, but I can see a tiny bit of pan there. So I feel like I will have some proper pan showing by next update on the shade. And this one I have used 22 times in the past month. For a total of 60 times in the project. And also I forgot to mention, but with Dim Light, the first shade, I have used that one 31 times total in the project. Then moving on to the third shade, we have the highlighter in the palette, and this one is called Iridescent Strobe Light. This is another one that I'm not quite using yet. I'm focusing on other highlighters which are paler, and then I'm going to move on to this one when I'm in a bit more in summer and like a little bit more tan again, or going for a bit more like bronzier looks. So this one I haven't used for too much. I've reached for 2 times in the past month for a total of 4 in the whole project. So again, this is probably one of my most neglected shades, but that's fine because I'm again saving it for the warmer months. Then let's move on to the second row. We have the bronzer in the palette, and this is another one that I'm kind of waiting with at the moment because I'm panning a different bronzer. I'm wearing that different bronzer today. I'm actually only wearing 2 shades from the palette today, which I will talk you through in a second. But this shade I have reached for 3 times, so I still reached for it a couple times, but not too much. But I'm not worried about this one at all because again, this is a palette, like this is a shade that has quite like it's quite flat right now compared to some of the other shades. So I'm not too worried about finishing that one. I think once I focus on it, it will definitely be done quite quickly. So yeah, I reached for it 3 times in the past month for a total of 19 uses in the project. Then we have my absolute most used shade in the palette. I've really been focusing on this blush right here, which is the shade Iridescent Rose. It's the center one on the bottom. I've really been focused on this one because I feel like this is more of a wintry brush. I'm trying to get this one like used as much as I can now. And then when we're moving into the like warmer months, I'm going to focus more on the second blush, which I'm going to talk about soon. But with Iridescent Rose, I have used this one so much. Again, I can see that it's getting quite flat. I can definitely see the use on this eyeshadow right there. Not eyeshadow, sorry, on the blush right there. So I'm really happy with the progress on this one. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be done like in this kind of setting with using winter blushes. I think I'm going to go move on to this blush here first before I get to like finish that blush off. But I feel like I'm going to want to use it again in autumn, so I'm not too worried about it. But this one I have used 64 times in total. So again, it is my most used powder in this palette, which is very exciting. And I'm really happy with the progress on it as of now. Then the last shade in the palette is going to be quite quick to jump over. I actually didn't use it at all in the past month. I have 0 uses for a total of 4, and that is the shade Sublime Flush, which is more of the summery blush, so I'm holding off on that one till we are in warmer weather, and I feel like at that point I'm going to enjoy using this blush a bit more. So that is the palette as of now. I'm feeling like I have a little bit less usage now than I did in the first month. My first month was definitely like the most impressive. I had more uses spread out. I used everything a couple times at least, but now I'm mainly focusing on a handful of shades. So as you could tell, these two here are the ones that I'm focusing on mainly. I'm also wearing those two today. I'm wearing them mixed together as my blush because I found that this is quite a pigmented blush, and I feel like mixing these two together kind of tones it down a bit and makes it more like, I don't know, it looks even nicer on the skin. So that's what I've been doing, and I really enjoy it that way. I also use this one as like use a finishing powder sometimes as well, and mainly like on my cheeks, but also like on my kind of T-zone area. So that is again where I am with the usage. I think for next month I'm going to continue using this blush for 1 more month, and I'm going to work on like these two again, and hopefully I will have pan on this one by the next update. I think as well this will be the last month that I'm using that blush, and after that I'm probably going to start working on the other blush, Sublime Flush. With the rest, again I'm holding off on this one until I have a tan, so that's not going to get used yet. And then with the highlighter shade right here, I am also waiting with that one until I finish up the highlighter in my Project pan. Same with the bronzer here. I'm also panning a bronzer, so I'm finishing that one up first, and then I'm going to start using that one. So the other shades in here I'm going to hold off with, and I think again next month these two are going to be my main focus, but I might try to use some of the other shades a couple more times just to get a few more uses. But that is all of the usage for this palette for this month. Before I wrap up this video, I want to also talk you through the weight of this palette and how much it has moved. So I'm going to talk you through the quick stats first, like kind of what it started with and the advertised weight and all that kind of stuff. So at the introduction, this palette weighed 138.32 grams. So that's how much it weighed at the intro. And in the palette, it has 8.4 grams of advertised weight. So that is how much I'm kind of estimating. Of course, I have used this palette before, but I feel like also sometimes they underestimate their weight. So if they say 8.4 grams, I feel like a lot of times it's actually more product in there. So I'm hoping that if I average that, it will give me more of an accurate kind of weight. But that is how much I'm counting, so 8.4 grams. And then in January, I used 1.12 grams of this product. So that was like my best month. It was really, really good. I definitely had a really good month that month. So I was really happy with that. Then in February, I used up 0.69 grams, which is slightly less than the average. I forgot to say as well, but each month I need to use 0.7 grams in order to finish it for 12 months. I need to have that as an average. So in February, I was just slightly below that with 0.69 grams, and I had in total used 1.81 grams. So that was kind of my starting point. At the end of February, this palette weighed 136.51 grams. So that is kind of what I was at the last update. And today this palette weighs 135.99 grams. So that is how much it weighs today. And that means I have used up 0.52 grams, which is my worst month yet. But I feel like, I don't know, I feel like I'm not too worried about it because I'm only focusing really on 2 shades. And once I can use more of the palette altogether, I think it's going to go up quite a bit. But that means that I have now used a total of 2.33 grams of this palette. And considering we are quarter through the year, we have gone for 3 months. I calculated the average that I need to use. And considering I have to use 0.7 grams a month in order to hit that goal, I would have had to be at 2.1 grams to be on track to finish this palette. And since I am on 2.33 grams, I am 0.23 grams above my target, which I'm really, really happy with. So I'm also really comfortable, and I feel like I'm going to finish this palette this year, which is nice to see. So that is kind of the stats of this palette and where I am today. So I never really set goals with the palette on like what I want to do for the next month. I usually just tell you what I want to focus on, which I've already kind of gone through. I want to continue focusing on these 2 center shades right there. And I do kind of want to reach for the palette at least a little bit here and there. I do want to keep focusing on the highlighter and the bronzer in my yellow product pan to finish up as soon as possible. But I will try to focus on the other shades a little bit if I can. Otherwise, I will kind of switch my focus for next month. So for the month of May, I'm definitely going to start using more of the palette. I'm believing that's going to be my target. So if I have a little bit of a slower month again in April, I'm not too worried about it. I'm just going to step up my usage game for the rest of the year, especially in summer. So that's going to be it for today. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please go ahead and give it a thumbs up if you did, and let me know if you're planning a palette this year and how you're doing with that so far. I hope you have a lovely day wherever you are, and I will catch you in my next one. Bye guys!